Hi grade 7s, today we're going to start your lesson, or your whole lesson actually is going to be completing your math toolkit for our unit on ratios. And as you can see here that I've taken one page, so imagine what you're seeing as one page of your toolkit, and I split it down the middle, and on one half I've written examples and the second half I've written explanation. And at any time during the video, you're welcome to pause the video in order to copy things down. But remember that your toolkit can only be used during your assessment if it only has what we're writing in it today. So the first thing we're going to do is look at something called equivalent ratios. And we're going to start with a simple example. And so our example is comparing the number of people with glasses. And we know that that's 12 people. And we're comparing it to the number of people without glasses, which is 8. And the first thing we're looking at is ratio notation. That means the way that we write ratios as a mathematician. So I have glasses to no glasses, and I have 12 to 8. And underneath you can see I also have the ratio of 3 to 2, and that's because we're looking at equivalent ratios. I know that 12 divided by 4 equals 3, and 8 divided by 4 equals 2. And since I can divide both by 4, 3 to 2 as an equivalent ratio to 12 to 8. Over here on the right side, you can see my tape diagram. And my tape diagram is just showing that I have a ratio of 3 to a ratio of 2. But if I compare that to a ratio of 12 to 8, then I know that each of my boxes must represent 4. And so tape diagrams are a great representation of ratios because you can use them for any equivalent ratios. The second part we're going to do is we're going to continue to look at tape diagrams. And we're going to look at how tape diagrams can be used to solve a problem. And this is our old favorite problem of lemonade. And lemonade is being made using 4 cups of water to 3 cups of lemon. Okay, so over here on the right side, you can see I have my ratio notation of water to lemonade. And it's really important that I've written the words down because order is important in ratios. And then I have my tape diagram. My top one is obviously water because I have 4 blocks, and my bottom one is lemon, which is 3 blocks, and that should be lemon, not lemonade. Now, if I have 21 cups of lemonade in total, I want to know how much water and how much lemon is needed. Since I'm looking at my total, when I look at my tape diagram, I can see that in total I have 7 squares. If 7 squares represents 21 cups, then each square must represent 3. And that means how much water and how much lemon is needed. I can see that if I have 4 squares with 3 each, that means I have 12 water, and I have lemons, 3 squares with 3 each, which means I have 9 lemon. And that could be 9 cups of lemon and 12 cups of water, or it could be 12 milliliters of water and 9 milliliters of lemon. So again, pause the video as needed. I'm going to go to the next page in your toolkit. On the next page in your toolkit, we're going to again use tape diagrams to solve a problem, and this is example 2. This one's a little bit more challenging, and you saw this in our second lesson of our online learning or distance learning. So the problem we're looking at is Julie's postcards to Andy's postcards. And we know it was a ratio of 2 to 5. And on the right side, you can see I have 2 squares, which must be Julie's, and I have 5 squares, which must be Andy's, because it's a 2 to 5 ratio. It says Julie bought another 40 postcards, and then she had 2 times as many postcards as Andy. And so on the second tape diagram, you can see that I've added on extra postcards, which is in blue, but I added on enough so that I've now doubled what Andy originally had. Andy originally had 5, and so I've added enough postcards so that I now have 5 more than Andy. That means I have twice as many as Andy. Okay. Now, the second thing we know is that she's bought 40 postcards. So we know that this new blue amount must be 40 postcards. And if I count, I can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 squares representing 40 postcards, which means that each square must be 5. If each square is 5, that means all of these squares are 5. And how many postcards did Andy have? Well, if Andy's are the red squares, and each square is 5, then I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So Andy had 25 postcards. The fourth problem we're going to look at is using number lines. And again, your assessment focuses on representation in mathematics. So this is another form of representation using a double number line. And this problem you've seen before as well. It says an object is 8 centimeters tall and its shadow is 11 centimeters tall. Looking at my number line, I can see that my top number line is for my object because it has from 0, 8, 16, 24. And my bottom number line is my shadow, 0, 11, 22, and 33. I've written here in my ratio notation, my object to shadow ratio is 8 to 11. And I want to know how tall is the shadow if the object is 12 centimeters tall. Looking at my number line, I can see that here, when I have 8 on my object, my shadow is 11. And I want to have my object as 12. So that's 8. I know that's 9, 10, 11, 12. And looking down onto my number line, I can see that my 12 lines up in the middle of 2 points on my number line. So counting on my number line here, I have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this is happening between 16 and 17, which means my shadow must be 16 and a half. Now it's possible that my number line doesn't give me a perfect answer. If I do it bigger and more detailed, I could get a more accurate answer. And let's try our last example. Our last example is using a graph. And so I'm starting this time with the recipe, which we saw in one of our spreadsheet lessons. And I'm using a recipe of 1 cup of sugar to 3 cups of flour. So you can see that I've plotted my recipe. Here's my 1 cup of sugar to 3 cups of flour. In order to plot a graph, I need to have more points. So if I double my cups of sugar, I then hit the point 2 cups of sugar. And if I doubled my cups of flour, I then had 6 cups of flour. So another point on my graph is 2 to 6. And a third point on my graph is if I took my original 1 cup of sugar and I multiplied by 4, I end up with 4 cups of sugar. And if I took my original 3 cups of flour and multiplied by 4, I end up with 12 cups of flour. And so to get a graph, I'm using equivalent ratios of 1 to 3. So my equivalent ratios I use is 2 to 6 and 4 to 12. And that allows me to get a graph. Now, if I erase my coordinates so that I can use my graph, my question asks me, if I now have 3 cups of sugar, how many cups of flour is needed? And again, the more accurate my graph is drawing, the better I can do in finding this answer. So if I want 3 cups of sugar, on my graph, I have to find where 3 cups of sugar would be. And I'm going to read my graph like we've practiced in science. So there's my 3 cups of sugar. And if I bring it over, I'm going to estimate from my graph, that's in the middle of 8 and 10, that would be 9 cups of flour. So if I have 3 cups of sugar, I'm going to have 9 cups of flour. I could, of course, check this by using my ratio notation. I have sugar to flour in a 1:3 ratio, and I have 3 cups of sugar, and I want to know how many cups of flour that must be. And I know that 1 multiplied by 3 is 3, and so 3 multiplied by 3 would give me 9. And so I know I'm correct by using my graph.